Now, what you and I choose today and each day will determine our future, just as certainly as the negative report of the 10 spies determined the destiny of an entire generation of our ancestors. You see, it was not only themselves whom the 10 spies injured, they banished and they barricaded an entire nation from a destiny as bright as gold, and as they put it in the text read to you tonight, as sweet as milk and honey, to use their own words. Despairing, doubting, and finding fault will always drive us down and will always drive us off the path of what God is doing. Others may enter the land of promise, but doubters and complainers will straggle behind. They will lose momentum and spiral down, steeped in their own misery and murmuring, eventually crashing in the wilderness, and unfortunately, as it always seems to happen, dragging many others down with them. By way of example, wait till next week's Parsha. Korach takes 250 of our best with him, and he literally drags them down. Gratitude and confidence, on the other hand, drive everything forward. But pickiness and pouting are like quicksand, sucking everything under. Moaning and murmuring short-circuit what the Ruach Hashem, the Spirit of God, is doing, and drain away the divine power available in the special moment of opportunity God gives us repeatedly. Whenever we are at a place of opportunity, that is a sacred, a special moment. It is, in fact, another Kadesh Barnea all over again. And when, through negativity and grumpiness, pettiness and short-sightedness, and yes, also through weak faith, whenever that happens, we let that opportunity pass by. And whenever we do that, we will find ourselves wandering in the wilderness rather than wandering in the promised land. Look, it's very easy and normal to complain, just as chapter 14 described for us, and it's not the only occurrence. But if we do, often we're doing nothing less than squelching the Ruach Hashem and what he is up to. We're hitting the brakes, and we're grabbing the steering wheel, derailing the train, and so risking communal shipwreck. And I know we mixed a bunch of metaphors into that one, but hopefully you understand. You see, perspective and attitude are vital. So where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself, say, based on the following equations? And here they are. Are you in love with the past or in league with the future? Do you deride the present or do you decide for the future? Robert Kennedy said something very insightful. He said a number of things that were very insightful, but one that he's remembered for very well. He said, some people things as they are, see things as they are, and they say, why? I dream things that never were and say, why not? Now, it's helpful to consider some corollaries to his statement based on our Torah passage. So, let me present some perhaps lessons or questions for us, some comparisons for our place and our time. We put it this way. Some see things as they are, and they complain. Others see things as they should be, and they make them come to pass. Some crave the leeks and garlics of Egypt. Others eat the fruit of the valley of Eshcol. Yes, those of you going to Israel with us in 2 weeks, we will be there. Some say those were the good old days. Others say the best is yet to come. So, what will it be for you? Will it be the wilderness or the promised land? It's ours to choose. But much more than that, it is ours to determine. We can make this, we can make this place into the fertile, fruitful valley of Eshcol, or we can create here a wilderness for wanderers. It's an opportunity, a perspective, a choice. Zoltan Kramer didn't look like a millionaire. the state trooper met the old man outside the front door of the Jewish Home for the Aged. "Mr. Kramer," he said, "my name is Sergeant Warren McEnroe. I've come to drive you to the lottery ceremony in Trenton." Now, though liberated from the concentration camp for more than 60 years, Zoltan still distrusted policemen, guns, and police cars. And you can understand. Sergeant McEnroe said, "You're the third instant millionaire I've chauffeured. So how does it feel to be an instant millionaire?" The old man said, "I'll tell you when I get the check." "But what happens if I don't take the money?" The officer glanced back at his passenger in disbelief. Who doesn't want $27 million? "Winning the lottery is nice," Kramer said, "but to me it's a joke. All I did was play my lucky number. It didn't require any skill or special intelligence. I didn't discover a cure for cancer. I just got lucky. Look, I'm 90 years old and I don't have much time left. I'm not going to buy a home or a car, and I have no wife or family to buy presents for. What do I really need? The assisted living home here, they feed me, give me my pills, they change my sheets. They let me play bingo and watch the big screen TV. Today, I will have $27 million. I remember my years in the concentration camp. I was a limping, wheezing skeleton. I had nothing. I was totally penniless and alone. In my small village in Romany, I saw my parents herded into cattle cars and sent off to the ovens. I saw a police officer shoot my lame little brother dead right in front of my eyes in the village square. I didn't have a penny when I lost my family. Today, I'll have $27 million, and I cannot buy their lives back. It's a joke, a sick, tragic joke." He went on, "But I was lucky. The Americans saved me, and eventually I came to the United States. I went to night school, and I met Margaret. She was an American girl who taught me English, and she taught me how to laugh again. I married her. For a living, I sewed piecework in a dress factory. It was my only job for 35 years, and Margaret was my only love. She died from cancer in 1995, and I miss her very much." "I'm so sorry," McEnroe said, and he changed the subject. "In 1 hour, you're going to get $27 million. You can still buy a lot of happiness and excitement with all that money." "I found my great happiness with Margaret," Kramer said, "and I found excitement by playing the numbers game." "But that's against the law," the trooper said, staring at his passenger through the rearview mirror. "Yes, it was illegal when I placed my nickel and dime bets at Saltzman's candy store. I gave Saltzman my spare change, and he'd write my numbers on a paper. And we both hoped we wouldn't get caught by the cops. When I won, I celebrated with Margaret. I'd hire a taxi cab to take us to a fine restaurant. I'd order 2 steak dinners and a glass of wine for Margaret and an ice cold bottle of beer for me. Once, when I won on a quarter bet, I also bought flowers for Margaret. She called me Diamond Jim Brady, and she called our feast our night of opulence. Then Zoltan asked, "Are you married?" McEnroe said he'd been married to Lori 18 years, and they had a 15-year-old son, Billy, and a 9-year-old daughter, Nancy. "But Sergeant, you still haven't answered my original question. What will they do if I don't take the $27 million? "I don't know what they'll do with the money, but they'll probably lock you away in a nut house, an insane asylum, and they'll say you're crazy. Turning back $27 million is just plain very un-American." Kramer smiled. "I guess you're right. But I'll tell you what. Later when they take pictures of me with that great big check, I want you to call your wife Lori. Tell her and the kids that tonight Diamond Jim is going to give them a night of opulence. I'm going to buy us all steak dinners and a glass of wine for Lori, 2 bottles of ice cold beer, 1 for you and 1 for me. and a Coke for Billy and a Shirley Temple for Nancy. It's my treat. Believe me, tonight I can afford it. Sergeant McEnroe changed the subject yet again. You never did tell me what your lucky number was. Zoltan Kramer laid his cane across the back seat, unbuckled his seatbelt, and rolled up his shirt sleeve, revealing his concentration camp tattoo. And both men continued their drive in silence. Remember, what we see depends mainly on what we look for. Herb Cohen said it this way: you and I do not see things as they are, we see things as we are. The Bible puts it this way: as a person thinks in his or her heart, so he or she is. According to your faith, be it to you. So what do you see? What do you expect? Wilderness or promised land? Desert or dream? As the author of the book of Hebrews put it, let us do our best to enter that rest. Let's not be like our ancestors who whined on the very verge of entering into the land of promise, rather than wined and dined in that land itself. Let our mouths be filled with praise for the efforts of so many among us here. And let our hearts and minds be overflowing with confidence in our God. Psalm 26 put it this way: when the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, because this is a psalm that was written in captivity, we thought we were dreaming. Our mouths were full of laughter, and so our tongues shouted for joy. The choice is ours as it was for our ancestors. And the last book of the Torah closes, or almost closes, with these words in this choice: I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I've set before you life or death, blessing or curse. Oh, that you would choose life. We face the same choice. That you and your children might live. Choose to love the Lord your God and to obey him and to cling to him, for he is your life and the length of your days. You will then be able to live safely in the land the Lord promised your ancestors. For them, for us, at every Kadesh Barnea, it's our choice. Friends, it's your choice. What is that choice going to be? Take the next minute or so in silence to begin to make that choice an ongoing and regular.